Please welcome Matthew Colcombe. Matthew Colcombe, let your light shine. Let your light shine. Matthew Colcombe.
I don't think I can do this. I shouldn't be here. I've got nothing important to say. Maybe I should go. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters. The voice you just heard was from my own personal motivational speaker, self-doubt. Please raise your hand if you've ever heard the voice of self-doubt before. Well, look around. It's a voice that echoes through all of us. Now, once upon a time, the voice of self-doubt consumed me. What didn't help was my final school report that I received when I was 18. It read that my teachers were, and I quote, somewhat pessimistic about his chances for success. I wanted to prove them wrong. But after leaving school, self-doubt followed and formed a cloud around me from within which I could see no sign of my potential. And for years I wandered around, searching for something or someone that could shine a light on my potential. But I was lost in this cloud of self-doubt. And I thought, maybe one way to manage self-doubt would be to understand it. So I went back to school, this time to study psychology. I had counseling. I had hypnotherapy. I even read countless self-help books, ignoring the words of comedian George Carlin, who once said, if you're looking for self-help, why would you read a book written by someone else? That's not self-help. That's help. By the age of 26, my understanding just made the voice of self-doubt louder. So I quit my degree, my therapy, and my books. I decided the only way around this cloud of self-doubt would be to escape from it. So I took up gardening. And of all the flowering plants in the world that I could grow, I chose cannabis. Contained in the dining room of a typical house was a tall, dark, mysterious-looking tent that stood large. And when unzipping down the middle of the tent, high-powered bulbs from within shone an intense light through that gap so bright, anyone would think E.T. himself would just step out. And after 4 months of growing, I harvested my first plant. I inhaled the mist of its vaporized fruit, the escape I was hoping for. But the cloud of self-doubt got darker. Suddenly, the interwoven fabric of my mind began to unravel. My thoughts scattered, exposing my deepest anxieties, fears, and insecurities. I felt like a child who had played carelessly with a chemistry set, unprepared for the reactions. All the wisdom around me said these reactions should last a few hours at the most, but a few hours turned into a few days, by which time I was convinced psychosis was inevitable. So I turned to the strongest person in my life, who appeared unshakable in any situation, my dad. After confessing everything to him, he didn't judge. He dropped everything to pick me up and bring me home to rest. In the middle of one night, during my darkest hours, I called out for him in desperation. Sensing my fear, he quickly arrived at my bedside. He stood there, silent. gently placed his hand on top of mine. My eyes were wide open as I felt reality was slipping away, and as I looked up to him with remnants of hope, I realized that the strongest person in my life, who appeared unshakable in any situation, was powerless. He couldn't do anything. But what happened next changed my life. He sat beside me, his head bowed and his arms stretched across my shoulders. And as he quietly muttered some words under his breath, I also bowed my head. I closed my eyes and I made a choice that I had never made before. I chose to let go. To let go of the voice of self-doubt, to let go of all the fears that went with it. And in that brief moment, I felt a warm sensation in my stomach. I don't know of its origin, but I'll never forget its raw force as it filled me up like an empty teacup. My eyes opened wide again, and now to something bigger, something greater, an unshakable strength, full of potential. Now some may say, that was God. Some may say, that was your survival instinct kicking in. Some may say, Matthew, for goodness sake, you were high on drugs, mate. But whatever anyone may say, the cloud of self-doubt lifted, and I stand before you today with a clear vision. It's not a vision gained from understanding. It's not a vision gained from escaping. It's not even a vision gained from the strongest person in my life. But it's a vision gained from an unshakable strength, full of potential that lies deep within each of us. And when we let go of the voice of self-doubt, and when we nurture and nourish the potential within, its energy will manifest into a light so bright that the whole world will see you shine. Fellow Toastmasters, the next time self-doubt raises its voice, will you be consumed in its darkness? Or will you let go of that voice of self-doubt and let your light shine?